Croiso pub to the Dealmania, brother, and games under $20 sale. Welcome to the sale, brother. Okay, that's a bit much. Maybe I won't put that in the video. If you can't tell, that was a really bad Hulkamania impression, and if you don't know what that is, man, go and learn your history. Anyway, if you're not having fun, you know what else you're doing with your life, am I right? Anyway, this is a pretty good sale. It's got a load of really good games in it, AAA, VR, indie, the lot. So if you like finding cool games to play and saving a lot of money along the way, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe. You're welcome here anytime. Okay, this sale ends on the 11th of September, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, Top Gun Maverick Ultimate Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 82% discount for the price of £15.29, which is really good because it's normally a big price, and it includes a ton of content, including the Maverick movie aircraft, and the Season Pass including 3 DLC missions, 3 extra planes, bonus content, and the F-104C Avril aircraft as well. So again, a ton of content included, including some really good DLC missions, proper content, not just cosmetics, which is great. In this fighter plane game, you become an ace pilot in photorealistic sorties including aircraft combat, bombing runs, aircraft versus ship combat, and massive air fortress battles in the newest game from the best fighter plane series ever made. Now if you've never heard of Ace Combat before, it's been around since the PS1 days. Yeah, it's that old, and it's a really good series. Anyone that's played fighter plane games knows this series. It's legendary for a reason, because it's been around forever, and it's the best. It looks the best, it plays the best. Every other game basically rips this off. So if you like fighter plane games, and especially modern ones because this includes a load of new fighter planes, and it also includes some made up anime themed ones as well with lasers and transforming abilities, and just futuristic sci-fi stuff, which is really cool. You don't have to use them if you don't want to, but they're there for a bit of extra fun if you're interested in that. And don't forget, this includes a VR mode as well. Now you can't play the whole game in VR, but you can play a small campaign, which is like 3 or 4 levels, something like that, in full VR, and it's made specifically for VR. So if you're into modern planes or Top Gun and that sort of stuff, and you want to see what it's like to be in the fighter pilot seat in VR, this is the best modern fighter pilot game for that. It's really good, it's really great, it's a top AAA game with a load of content included. Can't ask for much more really. If you like fighter plane games, definitely check this out, especially if you've got a PSVR 1, there's some really good bonus content in this as well. And hey, if you've never played a fighter plane game before, then you could start here, but it's a bit expensive. You get a lot of content for your money, but it is a lot more money than you could pay for some other games. You do have a few options, there's not a lot in this genre, but they are cheaper, even if they're not as good or AAA as this. So if you want something a bit cheaper, you could start with them instead. But if you're willing to pay the money, there's nowhere better. This is a great game from a great legendary series. Why not take a look if you're interested? Batora Lost Haven is our next game. It was released in 2022, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a cool looking game. In this isometric RPG, after losing her entire family, Avril becomes a survivor and will now be tested as she travels the universe, wielding unique abilities, solving puzzles, and fighting deadly foes in her final mission to restore her lost haven. Now, these days it's pretty rare to see isometric RPGs. A lot of the time they're things like Diablo and that sort of thing. So it's nice to see some indie games using old school game mechanics. Not every game has to be a clone of the other game of the other game of the other game. The industry would get boring if that was the case. But this game does promise a unique fighting system and story choices as well, saying that those will make a difference to the story, which is pretty cool. I like it when indie games try to aim for the stars and add some cool features that you don't see in every game, even if they're AAA ones. So if you're a fan of old school isometric RPGs and you want something a bit nostalgic but modern, why not take a look at this? It looks like a really good game from a really cool indie studio that are trying a lot of good things and people seem to really like it. It's got really good reviews and people are generally really positive about it, which is great. Games like this deserve more attention and this looks like a pretty good game for your money. So if you're interested, why not check it out? And hey, if you've never played an isometric RPG before, then you could start here, but you can also pick up legendary AAA ones, about the same price as this, as well. So you have a lot of choices really, including some legendary games, as long as you don't mind playing some old school gameplay. Either way, you've got a lot of choices, but if you want something a bit more modern, this is a pretty good option. So why not take a look at it if you like the sound of that? We have an RPG next, Elex. It was released in 2017, so it's 7 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal for a game of this quality. In this game, you get to explore a post-apocalyptic science fantasy universe where people fight for Elex, which can grant magic-like powers, and it features futuristic and medieval areas to explore, weapons and armor, open-world exploration, and a classless skill system as well. So there's some customization in how you make your character, and some combinations of things that make it more flexible than most systems, which is pretty cool. Now, what makes this game unique to most RPGs is the mixture of different time periods and technologies. It's like half medieval magic, half science fiction futuristic. Because it's post-apocalyptic, there's some stuff left over from the past, which people use in combat and weaponry and armor and that sort of thing. So it does have an interesting mix of items. Now, when this game came out, it was a bit divisive because it got pretty poorly reviewed and pretty poorly received. Some people said it had really good points to it, but never really lived up to it. But these days, after all the dust has settled, people have got a generally positive view of this game. So if you like RPGs and you want something a bit different or a bit more unique, it may not be the most polished game around, but it's definitely different and something a bit interesting to people who like this genre. So if you like the sound of that, why not check it out? And hey, if you've never played an RPG before, then I wouldn't start here. You can get big AAA ones for about this price, or even lower if you go further back in history and pick up some of the legendary historical ones instead. Either way, you've got a lot of options in this genre, and a lot of them are more well reviewed than this, and just have better reputations in general, so you're probably better off starting one of them instead. But don't worry, I'll let you know when they're on sale next, and then you won't miss out. We have a first-person shooter next, Industria. It was released in 2022, so it's only 2 years old, and it's on at least a 70% discount for the price of £4.79 or £3.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, especially for PS Plus subscribers. Now, this game is only for PS5, so keep that in mind if you're looking for this game. This game is set during the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, where a man mysteriously vanishes after leaving you a puzzling message. Now you have to explore a deserted facility and plunge into a parallel dimension as you search for your missing colleague. This game is an indie shooter, and the reviews are really good. Pretty much the only negative they have to say is it's short. It's only about 4 or 3.5 hours, depending on how quickly you get through it. But apparently it's a really cool and interesting game, and really different and unique. People say it's really good quality, it's just short. But hey, it's on sale. If you like first-person shooters with a good story and an interesting world to explore, then you might want to pick this up. It's a diamond in the rough, and I think it's a really good game, especially at this price. I don't think you can go far wrong, really. So if you're as interested as I am, why not check it out? It looks like a really cool and interesting game. And hey, if you've never played a first-person shooter before, then I probably wouldn't recommend starting here. You can get big AAA ones for about the same price on sale, and this is a bit of a niche game as well. It's not typical of the genre, so it's not really representative. So if you want to start in your FPS journey, you're probably better off starting somewhere else, unless you're really interested in this game, in which case, why not take a look around? We have a bundle of games next. Nexomon and Nexomon Extinction Complete Collection. They were released in 2022, so they're 2 years old, although they're a little older than that really. And they're on an 80% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal for 2 full games, as it includes both the first games, and it includes the PS4 and PS5 versions of the first game, but only PS4 for the second game, because there is no PS5 version for the sequel. In these Monster Trainer RPGs, you set off on 2 full adventures to become a Nexomon training Grandmaster, as you collect over 600 monsters from 9 different elemental types, and you might even save the world along the way. Now, I'm a big fan of Pokemon. I played them a lot as a kid, and as I've gotten older, I still enjoy them, but I'm a bit jaded in the series. But hey, if you've never owned a Nintendo console and you want something like Pokemon, these games are basically Pokemon rip-offs, but much cheaper and with way more characters in them. So if you're a fan of RPGs in general, and you like the idea of collecting and training little monsters for fighting, then you might really enjoy these games. You're getting 2 for a really good price, and there's not really a lot of competition in this genre. They're small indie games, but I think they'll be a lot of fun if you like this sort of thing. So if you like the sound of it, why not take a look at them? They might be really fun if you like this sort of thing. And hey, if you've never played a Monster Trainer RPG before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. They're really good value, but you can get bigger AAA ones, even though there's not many of them around. So it's up to you really. You probably have to wait a while for bigger AAA ones to be on sale, and if you don't want to do that, these ones are pretty cheap, so why not take a look at them? Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, and you won't miss the others when they're on sale next. We have a little adventure game next. Retro Machina. It was released in 2021, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really cool price for a really interesting little game. This game is set in a world where humans are extinct, and the last remaining robots carry out their jobs while discarding any malfunctioning robots to the junk pile. And you play as a discarded robot on a journey to fix its malfunctioning body and find intelligent life, if it still exists. Now I love little puzzle adventure games, you know that by now, and this game looks amazing to me. It literally won awards when it was released, and it looks amazing. The reviews are ecstatic. People that play this game love it. They say the story's really good and emotional, and it really hooks you in. And I find the world interesting as well, the whole idea of the future and everyone being dead, and what happens with the technology we've left behind, really interests me. Bottom line, my gut says this game's a gem of a game, and if you like puzzle adventures like I do, you should definitely take a look at this. It looks like a really good quality game, and I just wish more people knew about it. It looks that good. So if you're as interested as I am, why not check this one out? I think you'll have a lot of fun if you like this sort of game. And hey, if you've never played an adventure game before, then you could start here. It looks like a really good game at a really good price, but you can pick up bigger AAA ones for not much more when they're on sale as well, so you have quite a bit to choose from in this genre. So if you really like the look of this game, then check it out, but if not, don't worry, you'll have plenty more to choose from in future sales instead. Up next is my star buy, Sniper Elite 4 Digital Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2017, so it's 7 years old, and it's on a 95% discount for the low price of £3.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for non-PS Plus users, and a fantastic deal for such a good quality AAA game with a ton of content included, as this edition includes the full £29 DLC pass, including new missions, weapons, characters, and weapon skins. So not only are you getting proper gameplay with extra DLC content, you're getting a load of cosmetics as well, which is great. You're getting the best version of the game with everything included. In this third-person shooter, you get to experience the definitive sniper franchise with huge levels, tactical gameplay, epic long shots as you fight to liberate wartime Italy from the evil Axis. It features 2-player co-op and 4-player online multiplayer as well, although who knows how busy that is these days. Now this series is from a huge franchise, you don't have a lot of sniper games to choose from really, and this is basically the best one. And the fact that it has co-op is great. Playing games together with a friend is so much better than playing on your own, and playing a really good game together is even better. This franchise has been around a while, I've picked up quite a few of them on sale, and this looks like a really good game with really good gameplay, good multiplayer features, and just generally it's a really good game from a really good franchise. If you like third-person action shooters or sniper games, definitely check this out. It's a really good quality game from a great franchise. Like I said, it's my star buy. It's well worth your time and money, I promise. And hey, if you've never played a third-person shooter before, then you definitely could start here. It's from a big AAA franchise, and it's a great version of the game with a ton of content included. So if you like the look of this one, definitely check it out. But if not, don't worry, there are other options around, and there's plenty of choice in this genre, so there'll be more games in future sales for you to check out as well. We have a VR game next, The Wizards Enhanced Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £5.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for non-PS Plus users, which is great, as this edition includes new content and game mechanics as well, so you're getting the best version of the game, which is really great. Now, this is a VR adventure where move controllers are required, so if you don't have them, you can't play it, which is great because it makes this game way better to have them supported. In this game, you get to become a powerful sorcerer with a host of mighty spells to defend the realm of Meliora. It features an expansive campaign, a gesture-based spell system, spells and upgrades, a challenge and arena mode, and customizable locomotion settings. Now, this game is older, but it got really good reviews, and it's a pretty decent game. Basically get to fight loads of enemies in a horde sort of defense attack sort of mechanic, and there are some basic puzzles in the adventuring as well. All in all, if you're looking for a pretty good VR game where you get to be a wizard and throw fireballs around and stuff like that, then you'll have a lot of fun with this. It's a pretty good VR adventure, and it's at a really good price as well. So if you like the sound of that, why not take a look at this? It's probably one of the best PSVR 1 games you can pick up around this price, so why not check it out if you're interested? And hey, if you've never played a VR adventure before, then I probably wouldn't start here. You really could because it's a good game at a good price, but there's a lot to choose from in this genre, and you can pick them up a little cheaper than this as well. So you have other options that are equally as good, or maybe a little bit better, that you can get cheaper on some sales. So you're probably better off starting with one of them instead. But hey, if you really like the look of this one, then go for it. It's not much more, and it's definitely a good game. And the final game I have for you is Tower of Time. It was released in 2020, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal for a unique little game. In this tactical RPG, you get to lead a party of heroes through a tower filled with monsters, as you tactically manage 7 classes with complex skill systems, varied abilities, and weaponry as well. And it features 150 enemies to fight and 50 bosses to conquer with steel and magic. Now, this is a pretty unique game because it's the isometric RPG style, but it's a tactical game as well. So you get to pause the action, plan out your actions, and then execute your plan to complete the missions and complete the game. So it's basically like a turn-based tactical game mixed with RPG isometric gameplay, which is really different and unique. So if you're a fan of tactical games and old school RPGs, you'll probably really love this game. It's very different and unique. Why not check it out if you like the sound of it? And hey, if you've never played a tactical RPG before, because who has? I don't think I've ever seen one before, then you should definitely take a look at this game. It's very different and unique, and I'm not even sure if there's other games like this really. So if you like the look of it, definitely check it out. But if not, don't worry, there's plenty more gameplay types and genres to choose from instead. And that's all the games I have for the Dealmania and Games Under £20 PSN sales. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the star buy? Did it deserve it, or should some other game have won it instead? Leave all your comments below, and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some cool games to play, but more importantly, I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.